Hello everybody, welcome back to 10-Minute Reviews. I'm Jason, that fuzzy crazy one is Freya. We're bringing you today's video. Hi Fuzz. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys. Small little channel, we just love to talk about books, as you can see from back there. We want to bring as many books to you guys as we can, so please support us, we'd really appreciate it. And today I want to talk about Dragon's Justice 5 by Bruce Sentar. It just came out a few days ago. I'll put a link down below if I can remember, but I'm getting better at it. And as always, I'm going to talk about four things. I'm going to talk about the world, I'm going to talk about the characters, I'm going to talk about the plot, and then I'm going to talk about the writing style. So, as you guys already know, we've talked about a couple of Bruce Sentar's books. I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of Bruce Sentar. And I love the Dragon's Justice series. It's my favorite series of his. So, I was dying for this book to come out. As soon as it came out, I read it. The world, modern times. Modern times-ish. It's modern times, but it does have that supernatural world. It's urban fantasy. Has that supernatural world that is adjacent to the rest of the world. It's hidden. The whole hidden society of your werewolves and vampires and fays and, of course, dragons. I mean, it's called Dragon's Justice. All the usual fantasy tropes are present, and they're the whole hidden world. So of course they're very invested in keeping themselves hidden, because as technology marches, as regular humans continue to breed, the population gets bigger and bigger, and our technology gets bigger and bigger and better and better. The supernatural, they know they can't really compete. I mean, in fact, in the previous book, in book 4, a dragon actually got shot down by a fighter jet. There was some magic involved and some other stuff involved, but they know that despite how powerful they are, they're a smaller population. Plus, a war would do nobody any good. Now, as far as the characters go, the main character is Zachary Pendragon. He is the king of dragons. He became the king in book 4. He's the king of dragons, and he's a rare dragon in that he is the descendant of both Tiamat and Bahamut, which were two dragons on two totally separate sides of the equation, basically. There's a prophecy saying, were they to ever get together, were they to ever have any children, it would basically be the end of the world. So theoretically, there's a prophecy saying Zach will be the end of the world. But by the same token, he is the king of dragons. And the reason for that is because not only is he a gold dragon, but he's also a silver dragon, he's also a copper dragon, he's also a bronze dragon, he's also a green dragon, he's also a black dragon. He has the ability to be all of them. Whenever he chooses, with all of their abilities, all of their weaknesses, which makes him a hot commodity, because he is able to revive the dragon lines that have disappeared, that have failed, that have died out. Dragons have definitely died out, or are dying out. They are definitely fading out, and Zach has the ability to create new dragons of all the different types. Not necessarily create, of course. He has to have some females to give birth to these dragons, and hence he has quite the large harem, which does get into the only thing that I do not like about the book, but I'll cover that when I talk about the plot. Other characters, you've got the rest of his harem. I'm not going to go through every single person, but some of the big ones, some of the main ones. Sabrina, the succubus turned wizard, that is just an awesome wizard, an awesome character. She is definitely one of my favorite characters. Morgana Silverwing, the drow, vampire, sorceress, angelic blood feeding badass. She is Morgana Silverblade, hands down my favorite character. You've got Kelly, who's the werewolf and the only female alpha werewolf in the world and in history. And then you've got various other ones, his elvish bride, his elvish fiance, his siren wife, his kitsune wife, his elf dragon wife, and then of course his best friend Frank, or his best friend Maddie, and his friend Frank, and his entire dragon bodyguard. So there's a ton of characters in here, but Morgana Silverblade, hands down my favorite one. Now the plot for Dragon's Justice 5, fascinating, pretty interesting. It kind of goes back to sort of his roots of him and Morgana being mercenaries / investigators. They call themselves mercenaries, Silverwing mercenaries, but they're more investigators. You'd almost call them private investigators and problem solvers. And there is a vampire problem. There's a vampire problem. New vampires being created. There's vampire attacks happening. In fact, Maddie gets attacked. Maddie gets attacked. Maddie gets turned into a vampire, which then brings Maddie and Frank into the paranormal world, which solves one of the issues that was happening through the first 4 books of this distance opening up between him and his 2 best friends because he has to hide everything from them. Well, now they get thrust into this world on their own. You've got the return of Helena, the Nephilim, and her partner Trill, because Helena now joined the FBI, and Trill, I think. So you've got the return of them investigating demonic murders. So you've got vampires in Philadelphia, that are killing. You've got a demon that has shown up suddenly killing. You've got the Fae popping up, the Winter Court and the Summer Court. Their ongoing war. Plus, you've got Zach just trying to keep the peace going within the council, and while also investigating both of these issues while trying to keep the FBI out of it, even though half of the FBI is part of the paranormal world, Helena, and she is trying to make amends for what she had done in the previous books. So you've got a very intertwined plot that revolves around two mysteries that you, of course, know are intertwined, and it's fascinating. It's an awesome urban fantasy book, absolutely incredible. Yes, there's a lot of adult situations in there because he has a massive harem, but this is one of those ones that is so good I tend to skip past those, so I get back to the plot, to the main plot, because it's just so fascinating, it's so good, it's such a great read. The one and only thing that I don't like about the book is just me, not saying it's a bad part, it just doesn't work for me, it's honestly just the dragons, and primarily Zach, but also his dragon bodyguards, and that's the whole focus on the dragon side, or not focus, but these parts interspersed that really, except for the end battle, or second to end battle, don't really have anything to do with the plot. They don't really drive the plot forward in any way, shape, or form. They're just kind of like aside things. This whole thing of the dragon instincts, and the dragon is a beast, and the dragon is basically a separate character, separate being, and so the dragon butts his head against Zach's chest. The whole trying to show how powerful the dragon instincts are. Take this from this from somebody who found out in their mid-40s that they're very, very likely on the autism spectrum. The dragons come across as autistic 3-year-olds. They truly, truly do. To me, it breaks me out of the book every time it happens, because to me it's just so incredibly unrealistic how it happens. These dragons, like the bodyguards, some of them are centuries old. They've been living in our world. They've been existing in our world. They should know how to mask themselves. They should know how to control themselves. They should know how to act to societal norms, especially around normal people. So, their instincts shouldn't be kicking in to where they instantly have to, don't disrespect the king, my king this, my king that, my king, you can't do this to my king, in front of normal people. Come on, your instincts cannot be so strong and to override centuries of theoretical higher intelligence and be able and override all of that. Same thing with Zach. All the dozens and dozens of mine, and all of a sudden, doesn't matter where he's at, he can be in the middle of the quad at the college, and somebody looks at one of his mates or his potential wives wrong, and all of a sudden he's mine, and all of a sudden this massive horn dog that can't see anything else, can't think of anything else, wants to start biting him, licking him, pushing him against what. To me, it's just like what I thought these characters were supposed to be: extremely powerful, extremely intelligent, and extremely old, which would mean that they know how to act, and it just pulls me out of the book every single time because it's so incredibly unrealistic to me. But that's just me. I know that that a lot of people that read these books, that's why they read these books, is this kind of animalistic instinct and stuff like that. So not necessarily a critique, it's just something that I'm not personally a big fan of, but this is still one of my favorite series. And now that I've finished book 5, even though it just came out, I'm dying for book 6, and I know it's not really possible for him to write book 6 in 2 days, but it'd be great if it would come out in the next couple of days. As far as the writing style goes, it's just like the writing style of the previous 4, obviously. Extremely entertaining, extremely entertaining. He really writes interpersonal connections really well. Not just between Zach and his mates and the paranormal council and the cops and the FBI and the Fae and the elves and Center Shard and this paranormal city, but even between the side characters. I really like how Morgana and Kelly are really starting to bond in a frenemy kind of way, and he writes them all really well, really amusing. This again, I cannot wait for the next book. It's weird to me how much I love the books and the series, despite the fact that the main character might not even make my top 5 favorite characters in the book. It's pretty crazy. And this just shows how well Bruce Sentar writes his characters, how well Bruce Sentar writes his books. Absolutely fascinating. So after you guys hit the like and subscribe buttons, you guys got to go check out Dragon's Justice 5. It's really good, really good. If you haven't read 1 through 4 yet, what the hell's wrong with you? Go read Dragon's Justice #1. Awesome book. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now.